I want to go out first to our audience here. What I'm going to ask is that you raise your hand, identify yourself, and please very briefly ask a question or make a comment. Just this woman in green here.
Hi, my name's Kohinoor. Hello. My question is, regarding social enterprise. In the UK, I believe we call it social enterprise, and there's over 70,000 in this country alone. So I imagine there's hundreds of thousands around the world. How do you feel governments can perpetuate a system to encourage social enterprises? How can they improve and create more?
You'll notice that I have not used the word social enterprise. I always use the word social business because I see there's a difference between the two. But that's good. It's not that's because I didn't use. That doesn't mean it is something I disapprove. I don't disapprove. I said that's another way. In social enterprise, there are elements of charity, which we try to avoid. We want to skip the whole elements of charity. It could be just like social business that I'm talking about, non-dividend company, no profit at all. But it's not clear. Some NGOs do the thing as part of charity, part of income, and so on is a business, part charity. So there's a mix of it, possibility. And sometimes they don't have mix, but only social business as a social enterprise, as a social business. Since it has some haziness about it, we try to avoid that. In social business, what we do, tell the government not to help us. This is a very, very strong message to the government. Please don't help us. With a very good reason. We have reasons why we say that. We say that if you give us a tax benefit, if you give us charity money, grant money or something, if you give us a special privileges about land, about facilities and so on, that will benefit us. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, it will encourage fake social business to get in. Money makers change the title of their business and fake it as a social business to catch the tax benefit, catch the special benefit and so on. I said I would rather suffer through the difficulty of running business along with everybody else and avoid those fake business to come in, contamination of that. I will keep it the sanctity of this, keep it clean so that I don't have disturbance on that. We tell the government to become cheerleaders without any money. Just say it's a good thing they are doing. That's all you say, nothing else. And we are fine with that. And if you want to, we tell the government, if you want to start something as a social business, you design yourself. You have many charity activities, government has many charity activities. Why don't you design a social business to address some of that? For example, you have a welfare system. You put in welfare, which is a wonderful thing you do. But can you create a social business fund for the welfare people? If anybody wants to start a business out of the welfare people, you will invest like we had the venture capital fund that I described in Bangladesh. So that you invest in their business. Make sure they are successful. When they are successful, they will return the money to your fund and they will not be on your neck for receiving this check again. So you have done one, even if you have 100 or 200 cases like that, it will open up the whole gate that yes, people can do that. Even their children. Maybe older people say, okay, I'm used to it. Young people say, I'm not used to it. I want to start my business. If I can get the money from the investment fund, I will definitely come up with the business idea. Or my friends and together, three of us get together, we'll create our own business. And if this money is available. So that will be a good thing. And that will be their experience also. This is one. Another thing, particularly for British government or the UK government, they have foreign aid. I said many of the foreign aid is grant money. Some are business money, some are grant money. I said, why don't you use your money to a particular country that you gave grant money, create a social business fund there, and ask for competition. Come up with the design competition, how to address the health care of the women, health care of the children, or nutrition and so on. Come up with a business idea, we'll invest in your business. We will give you the investment money, we'll become partner, this fund will become the partner, which will be local fund. It's not a UK fund. You give the money to the local fund, and it's a local fund. They will give the money, and money will come back and comes back into the fund. It will be used again and again. In the meantime, we are generating ideas after ideas. You did one thing, I said I can do better, I get another idea. So you're energizing many other young people to do such things. So these are the direction that I would rather invite them to do. Thank you.
So we've got actually two people online asking pretty much the exact same question here. One is an anonymous student from the University of Edinburgh. I'm not sure why they don't want to. What do you think of the universal basic income? An idea that is gaining currency with some, but also sounds like it's a little bit at tension with some of the things you've talked about.
Yeah, this is in the same line as welfare. Because you don't earn enough, somebody has to top it up. That's a universal. Government has to chip in. You earn money someplace which is not enough for you, government tops it up. This is a universal guaranteed income. So I'm not in that path. I'm saying nobody should be in welfare to begin with. Welfare comes because the system is crooked. It's nothing wrong with the people. Simply, system didn't know how to deal with people who has no employment because you push them into employment. I said, I'm not pushing anybody to employment. I said, you become an entrepreneur. That's what you are. So I would say, you be entrepreneur, earn enough. You don't have to be a beggar to beg for anybody. You have to be on your own. This is the strength of the people. Human beings are equipped with all the ability that they need to take care of themselves. They shouldn't be dependent on anybody else. That is, I think, diminishing the human being. I would rather enhancing the human being. I'll prop up the institutions, I prop up the facilities so that they can go ahead and do their businesses and do more for their income and so on and so forth. I would go that route rather than go in the welfare route. Welfare route is a failure of the system. It's not the success of the system. So you're trying to do the patchwork. You do the welfare, you do this, someday another thing will happen because you can't cope with that. Because fundamentally it's wrong. You started with the wrong premises.
So maybe instead of universal basic income, we should have universal basic borrowing limits for entrepreneurs.
No, not necessarily borrowing. Why should there be limits? See, you use the word limits. Why should there be limit? If I can borrow and pay you back, why should there be limit? This is a business. It's not. You see, you come from the charity side. Charity has the limit. Business doesn't have a limit. Business is wide open, limitless. So you do the business. When you give me the money, you lend me the money, that's your business. Whether it's a social business, whether it's a money-making business, it's a business. So you'd like to expand it, not limit it. So limit is a wrong idea.
Borrowing minimums is what I meant to say. Why don't we go, if you don't mind, maybe I'll ask two and gather a couple. This gentleman and okay, well, this gentleman and the woman right behind him. Why don't we start with them?
Hi, good evening. I'm Zulfi Hussain, very much an entrepreneur and philanthropist. I've just traveled just over 200 miles to come and see you. I'm a great fan of your work. I've met some amazing people already here, very dynamic, like-minded. And I guess my comment or question to yourself is, what would be your call to action tonight for the people here? Because I think we should all be going away with some sort of a responsibility of not just listening to your wise words, but actually acting on them.
Yeah, good. We're going to take one more. The woman behind him, and then I will remind you if you forget. Yeah.
I'm Zaki Rizvana. I'm a pediatrician. I've got two very quick questions. One is, once we talk about the economic development, whether it's at household level or community level, what I feel is no matter how economically developed you are, unless and until you have the social development, you can't enjoy the fruit of the economic development. Why I'm saying it, because I worked in 80 villages in Tangail, Madhupur, and I've seen that the hospitals, all the as you mentioned, that the health indicators are improving. That's true, but when we have the health facilities, the women they didn't have the access to the health service, not because they didn't exist, but because of the social factors. So if you want to say, the second thing is about the zero carbon emission. Like Bhutan, Bhutan is totally carbon neutral. Not only neutral, they are carbon negative. If Bhutan can do that, why Bangladesh can't do it? Thank you very much.
Two very different questions. What is your call to action? How do we think about women's access to healthcare? Go ahead.
But the call to action would be like 3 zeros. That's the kind of destination that we put out in front of us. This is where we have to go. See if it makes sense to you. The zero poverty, zero unemployment, zero net carbon emission. And pick up any one of them. See if you can do anything in the direction. And I have the toolbox. I added a tool in your toolbox called social business. See if you can use the social business in that way. And I gave some examples, quick examples in the discussion. I said, can we take 5 welfare people out of welfare? It's not a rocket science. If we spend another 10 minutes, we can have 100 designs for that as a business. And pick up one and implement it. If you have taken 5 welfare people out of welfare, you created history. And everybody will follow you. And nobody will be in welfare. So we have so many opportunities now. If you take 5 or 3 or 2, just using a number, if you take 5 chronically unemployed young people, they have never found a job yet. They have tried many. Take them out. And either give them an employment in your business, what you create as a social business, just to, like I gave the case of former prisoners. They created a business to employ the former prisoners and run a beautiful restaurant. And you can do that. Anybody can do that. Or create an entrepreneur out of them. That's also a possibility. See, what you do, have a kind of competition among the unemployed young people. Who would like to become an entrepreneur? Thousands of them will probably participate. You pick 5. Brilliant idea they have. And you put it as a investment, not as a loan. Loan is a scary thing for them. Investment, I'm your partner. So let's work together. See if you can be successful. If out of the 5, 4 are successful, you have done something. And then one which didn't succeed will try it again with them. This is it. So these are things, steps are very simple. And every social business that I talk about, I said, think about the biggest issue that you could get. But start very, very small. Unemployment is a big issue. But start very small, with 2 people. It can be done. So what happens to 2 people? You created the prototype. And that is the most important thing. Once you have successfully developed the prototype, all everybody else has to do is to repeat it. Nothing else. Or improve it. And on the way, people will come. But you are the one who opened it up. So we have a chance to make a history. Everywhere you can do, you can start something new with a very small size and make. So this is the appeal. So you can, even if you're not doing it, at least think in your mind how to design a business to take 5 unemployed people or 5 welfare people out of welfare. And you post it in your Facebook or whatever account you have, so that others say, hey, this is a good idea, I'd like to invest in it. You don't have to invest in it. You don't have to run it. You come up with just idea. That idea is so powerful. Social business, the core of the social business is creative idea, nothing else. You come with the creative idea, world will change. It will make it happen. And the other one about the problem of social issues. And social issues, you have to deal with it. It's not a separate issue. Just to give our experience on microcredit and so on, it's filled with problems. Because we are giving, first of all, problem was we are giving loan to women. Everybody protested. You can't give it. Even the husband in the family was opposed to it. He became the leader of the opposition. He would not let it happen. He felt insulted. How can you do that? What does she know about money? I'm the one who controls money. So I said, okay, you control your money, we'll not disturb you. We'll give this money. You'll not be responsible for this. So we had to go through a lot. And the mullahs opposed it. They said this is against Islam. You can't do that. You're destroying the religion. And all kinds of opposition. And that opposition has not ended. You have varieties of opposition of microcredit. You can keep hearing, your ears will be full. But you keep on doing it because you believe in it, you know what you are doing. Continue it. That's the only way. And come with a creative way of addressing it. Not only were attacked, we came up with a counter-attack. We never yielded to their attack. We just built a counter-attack for them, not yielding, accepting it. We counter-attacked the religious people. Mullahs confronted them. Where is your religion that it says? And we give examples. Very simple example, I'll share it with you, that they say this will destroy the religion. With a simple example that we give, as a Muslim, we are supposed to follow the footsteps of the Prophet. Everybody agrees that we have to follow the footsteps of the Prophet. That's the best thing a Muslim can do. And as a young man, he took a job. His first job was under a woman. So if you want to be a good Muslim, you have to find a businesswoman to work for. And Prophet married her. She is an older person than the Prophet, younger person. He married her. Then we said, look, this is history. So if you want to be good Muslim, if you want to follow the footsteps, you have to marry a businesswoman. And if you can't find businesswomen in your neighborhood, we have plenty of them. We'll introduce you them. So they understood that. We didn't take it as easy. We said, then they cannot counter this because this everybody knows. So this is the way. You come up with your things and continue debating, discussing, and so on. Finally, they will see the point. And the other one, there was another point. One is social, another one. Carbon emission, of course. But Bangladesh economy is different. There is a very non-industrialized economy. Industry is in a densely populated country. We create a lot of waste, for example. One is a plastic that I was talking about. Luckily, Bangladesh took a decision to ban plastic in marketing and bags and so on for shopping. So shopping bags are banned. This is an important decision. Nobody else has done that, but Bangladesh has done that. This is a very positive thing they have done. Being a very densely populated country, we create a lot of problems for ourselves in consumption, in waste creation, and many other things. So it's not comparable. Bhutan, I respect what they're doing, but they're a lucky country in that sense. They didn't have to go through. But Bangladesh will overcome that because Bangladesh is a victim of global warming. So we have our many problems that we see along the way, but we have to overcome that. Thank you.
So we're almost at the end of time, so I'm just going to take a couple more questions, and you can answer or not answer what you want in the time that we have remaining. I'm just seeing we haven't gone to the back. This gentleman in the back first, his hand held high.
Hi, my name is William Mahorney. I'd like to come back to the suggestion that the gentleman in the front made, and I've got a creative idea about call to action. You haven't really spoken in any detail about the amount of money that would take a woman or a family out of their present conditions into a viable solution. But I think all of us in this room, if I'm judging correctly what you've said, are in a position to go away this evening with a commitment to make a microloan. Would that not be so? And is the level, could you just elaborate a little bit on the level of a loan that would make a difference to a person in Bangladesh or elsewhere?
In the level in the US, for example, the loan size, entry point loan size is $1,500. So in the US, we have over 100,000 borrowers through 20 branches, 7 branches in New York, 2 in Los Angeles, 2 in San Francisco, and others in Omaha, Nebraska, Charlotte, North Carolina, and in 12 cities. And they have been expanding their business and so on. So if you're looking for that, this would be good size, $1,500 if you really want to do that. In Bangladesh, startup loan will be something like $40. So that it depends on the country, where the economy is, and so on.
If it seems too scary, if it seems too scary to do it as an individual,
Doesn't work.
it
disappears.
So
you need an organized effort for that.
So if somebody sitting in this audience wants to take you up on the $1,500 micro lending, what would you recommend they do? Who would they go to?
Usually, Kiva does that. Still, I hope that they still do that. Kiva is very good, well-renowned. You can go through Kiva. They will select you where they want to give the money. So it's always available. But this is a standard thing you can do. But there are more concrete things, ideas, new ideas That's a challenging thing. Giving $1,500 or $40 is easy. Write a check. I'm saying more than that. You use your head, that you can create a business to solve the problem of $1. Yeah, whatever's the problem.
But if we don't do anything, that isn't helpful.
That's not. That's not acceptable.
Right. And just the last question here to this woman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Lovely to be here
Good.
because I'm your biggest fan, I
Good.
must say.
I needed a friend. Thank you.
But this is not a skeptical
No,
comment.
Go ahead.
This is more like a philosophical question
go
which
ahead,
is
yeah.
coming to my mind because the way I see it, this is the inequality it's like a vicious circle because micro lending, do you think it's going to ever catch up with the, say for example, the bigger corporations because these micro entrepreneurs, they are taking loan, giving it back, then taking loan again. So do you think they are ever going to catch up with the inequality vicious circle? Because by that time, the bigger corporations would be getting bigger and bigger. So
Anything to
has it
catch-
helped
Yeah.
the world?
No, just quickly. I didn't see any reason to catch up. Why catch up with the rich? All I need is a life with dignity, that's all. I don't have to have billions of dollars around me. That's the wrong objective of life. And I'm saying, why do you have those billions of dollars? That's the question I'm raising. It's not because of you, because of the system kind of brought this money at your feet. You didn't do it. System did it for you. I said, why don't you turn around the system so that everybody has the same opportunity to make it happen? It's the system fault. We are trying to correct one little thing, not the system. And the system is a fundamental thing. That's what we are raising this question, what the system should be. Unless you correct the system, it will produce the same result over and over again. You do the corrective methods here a little bit. Some we always talk about in the UN jargon or in the development jargon. Nobody should be left behind. This is a slogan we always use. Nobody should be left behind. And I kept telling that, well, that's very funny that you say that, because we build the system to leave everybody behind. How can you expect that nobody should be left behind? You have to change the system. Only then you can talk about nobody left behind. Now, as I said, all the wealth of the world is sucked up and transported above. That's the system. And you're saying nobody should be left behind. We already left them behind because we picked them up, sent it up. So we have to go to the fundamental issue. In the meantime, we do the corrective thing, microcredit and all this employment and so on and so forth. But the basic thing has to be redesigned. Yeah.
Well, you have been incredibly generous with your time and thoughts with us tonight. You call in the last page of your book for an outburst of hope. And after spending decades with fantastic ideas born of famine and has gone on to change the lives of millions of people, we really appreciate you coming here to inspire not only the next generation, but all of us sitting here today of whatever age and background to be able to do more for the causes that you promote. So thank you so much.
Thank you.